Can I help you?
I'm Beatrice Beauchamp. I'm with the ∞ Fair, here to interview Miss Calypso.
Are you early or late?
She's actually on time, and you're up next. You're not gonna be needing this. Come on in. Connie's expecting you.
There are places like Kansas City where time doesn't move forward, it folds. Where women become myths and myths leave lipstick on champagne glasses. This is where I met her. Not just Connie Calypso, but the flame beneath the art, the ache behind the beauty, the woman who turned love into a revolution.
Look at her, she's a bad man, just as fine as she can be. Hey, she's a bad man, just as fine as she can be. Her body measurements are perfect in every dimension. She's got a figure that's shown of great attention. She's poetry in motion, a beautiful sight to see. I get so excited.
So, you're the one writing the story.
I am. At the ∞ Fair, we've been following your work for the last 3 years. And when I heard you were leaving the country, I just knew I had to come get the real spill about Love Is from you directly. I assure you, Connie, I'm here for the truth and nothing more. I'm actually a fan myself. The second series was immaculate.
Careful, beloved. Flattery feels like foreplay, and unfortunately, I'm just not that easy anymore. You see, I've seen your work. The way you deliberately expose stars when they're at their rock bottom or their most vulnerable state. Luckily for you, I have nothing to hide. Ask what you want. I'll answer honestly. I'm willing to talk about any and everything except for Ace.
Oh my god.
Here, in the palace, that phase of my life goes off the record and unspoken. Are we clear?
Crystal.
Perfect. Ladies, why don't you straighten up the place a bit for Beatrice here? I'm gonna go into the back end, change it to something comfortable. Everyone always talks about the magazines, the love inside them, but no one knows the war it took to make each vision visible. Each page, a confession. Each shoot, a resurrection. A love letter to the parts of herself that never learned how to stay silent. She didn't want fame. She wanted freedom. All right, I'm ready.
Private.
This ain't a therapy session. This is history, and we're a part of it. You're lucky we even let you in the frame, bitch.
Oh, bless her heart. She thinks she can hush a room full of legends.
¿Estás loca? This ain't a telenovela either. Ain't nobody sneaking off to do a secret scene.
She wanted intimacy so bad, she should have brought the wine.
I think for us to get the most authentic interview possible, it needs to be just me.
Ladies, can you just give us a minute?
Connie, I just want to say it is such an honor to be sitting here with you today in your fabulous humble abode. And I first just want to thank you for allowing me to be here in the Calypso Palace. So tell me, what made you diva of the century?
Well, when you're born with a kind of flair that makes even the brightest of stars jealous, you have no choice but to shine. And trust me, I've always known that I'm the light.
Love is part 1. What if God is a woman? What first sparked the concept of love is? Was it heartbreak, hope, or something in between?
I think that love is really just started off as a concept. I was spending some time in Atlanta for a while, and I was connecting with nature and connecting with a bunch of people in the city and getting more comfortable with myself. Before I moved to Atlanta, I went through a really bad breakup. And that bad breakup really led me to different areas of self-discovery and learning myself and tuning into myself. And Atlanta was very harsh with pushing me forward and catapulting me into an energy that was more spiritual and more depthful. And then when I came back to Kansas City in 2020, which was such a beautiful time for me, I was presented with an opportunity to really explore myself. And I wanted to explore myself with the community. So I gathered a bunch of women, got them bare-skinned in nature, and we did a photo shoot. The photo shoot initially just started off as just that. It was a photo shoot that I wanted to do with a bunch of beautiful women. And then I had this idea to add some words with that. I'm a writer. So I'm like, I don't just want to be out here just showing naked bodies. I want them to mean something. So I would ask 15 questions to the ladies. They would answer honestly. And then it just became a movement. It went from just photos to words and then combining and collaborating them together. And it just became something beautiful on its own. I didn't have the intention on creating Love Is. It just kind of happened.
How do you navigate vulnerability, asking deep personal questions while ensuring emotional safety and respect for your subjects?
You see, that's the thing. I'm not in control over their level of safety with their own vulnerability. I just present them with an opportunity to express themselves, to be themselves. I create a level of, I would say, nurturance that allows people to kind of surrender to their own truths. I wouldn't say that it's something that I'm doing. It's just something that I'm creating space for. The vulnerability comes on its own. Mm-hmm.
What shift do you feel internally or externally after that first experience that made you realize you needed to push further?
I think that after that first initial photo shoot, I began to feel more responsible for the people that I was orchestrating these photo shoots for. I realized that there was a lot that would come up for certain people, whether it's being naked in front of the camera and being comfortable with their bodies or asking really deep questions that bring up deeply rooted traumatic experiences in their life. And I had to become a container for that. It's not like, oh, I'm just using you to get your story and to use your body to, sell an image. It's just like, oh, this is a real thing. Like, I'm actually doing something in the community because people are benefiting from it. Women are starting to heal. So I think that that's what caused an internal shift within me, was when I seen that what I was doing suddenly became purposeful. And that wasn't the intention either. It became something more empowering when it started off as something playful. So the shift happened in between that realm, the playfulness and the seriousness combining and coming together, and then making me take it more seriously. So I began to create photo shoots and deepen my questions to have more intimacy within the spaces. And that's kind of what happened over time. On its own. Organic beginnings.
Moving into Love Is Part 2, Tales of the Divine Feminine. How did the concept transform from, we actually just answered that. How does being behind the lens shift your relationship to power, vulnerability, and beauty?
This kind of ties back into the element that I said of feeling responsible for people. I realized that people were trusting me with their most sacred and intimate parts. And there were times where I kind of wanted to back out of it because some of the things that people were sharing became too emotional for me. And as an empath, I'm just like, oh my God, like, I think that I don't have enough space to hold and carry the stories of these people, to hold the traumas and the hurt and the pain, and also like the beauty and the joy and the gratitude that people had. Like, people were starting to look towards me for support and also like creativity. Like, people were starting to see me as an outsource for expression, and that made me feel responsible. It made me feel like, okay, I have to step into duty. And that kind of made me feel a little insecure. So things started to shift with Love Is Part 2 because I had to really do some inner work within to be able to show up for the ladies in that space. They were very powerful women. And then embodying the essence of different goddesses, that also played a different element within it. One thing I was noticing about my stories is that the intention really came through within the stories. And it's like I'm giving all of these people an opportunity to be goddesses, and they were literally embodying the energy of these goddesses, these deities, these people that are crossed over. And it was just like, wow, like this is God's work is what I was realizing. Like it's not just me curating these things together. This is purposeful. And I think that Love Is Part 2 was very symbolic of the evolution of Love Is because the pictures went viral. You know what I mean? It's me and all these beautiful women, and we're naked. And people are just like, oh my God, what the fuck is this? You know what I mean? So I also felt responsible for the things that the women, a part of my stories, would go through as far as like criticism, you know what I mean? Being judged for being so open and oversharing and just being wild women. Some people were in awe of it, and some people were just like, okay, what's going on? This is too much. I had to carry the burden of all of those different areas of criticism coming my way and what to do with it without allowing it to make me feel small or making me feel like, okay, this is probably too big for me. So I really had to find courage to like keep going, and that happened within Love Is Part 2. It was just like, okay, this is a thing now. It's not just photo shoots, it's actually a thing. I'm doing something here. And what am I going to do moving forward to make it even bigger? So then I started to focus on expansion. I think that's what Love Is Part 2 taught me, is that you have to expand. Make it bigger, go home. Yeah. And that's what I began to do, yeah.
Moving into Love Is Part 3, The Lavish Legends. What inspired you to gather ladies from Kansas City to pay homage to legendary women who have made an impact with the entertainment industry?
So I love Josephine Baker. I grew up watching her movies. I grew up studying her. I feel like her and other Black women really paved the way for women like me. And I feel like I live in a day and age where sex is so, it's just everywhere, but it's demonized. Versus a time that Josephine Baker existed, is just like, she had to fight to be sexual and to be free and to be wild. And I wanted to really embody her energy. So that photo shoot particularly started with just me in mind. I'm like, I want to recreate photos of Josephine Baker. And I'm just like, girl, turn it into a Love Is. And so I felt like Josephine Baker is this really powerful, regal, intense woman. I need to have women that are a part of that represent that same energy. So like, who are powerful women that are impactful? And I had women in my mind that I wanted them to portray, but I'm just like, if I'm choosing powerful women, I want them to decide the powerful women that they want to embody. And that's kind of what happened. So then it became a collaboration where I'm not just in charge of everything, where I'm like, okay, you're gonna do this and you're gonna wear this. I'm like, I want you to choose who you wanna be. You choose what outfit you're going to wear and what photo you're going to recreate, and then let's see what we do now. So that became like a co-creation process. And that one flowed so beautifully. I was seeing sisterhood. I was being gifted the opportunity to see and experience sisterhood firsthand, and it humbled me and it softened me in a way where I didn't think I was prepared for, because now vulnerabilities are coming up and it's not just stories, and I'm not just using people to create these. I'm like, oh, something internally is shifting within me. So the stars really created an element of me to gather women that I thought were powerful, and then with that power, something within me was, I wouldn't say unleashed, but unraveled. You know, the softness and the desire for sisterhood unraveled within me. And I think that that's really what inspired Love Is Part 3. And it was a success. It really was. I mean, they really came in and embodied all of the characters. Marilyn Monroe, Aretha Franklin, Frida Kahlo. I am a Frida Kahlo fan. I feel like her spirit really just lives and permeates through me. So it was just a really powerful space. And I feel like the people that have crossed over that we were embodying were there in the space with us. I feel like we became those stars. We weren't just impersonating them. We were utilizing ourselves as catalysts and vessels to embody them. It was so beautiful.
How did your questions evolve to produce a deeper, more intentional or intimate response?
The inner work that I was doing. I think that transitioning from Love Is Part 3 into the rest of the stories, I had to really do some work, because I can't come to the table trying to get people to be vulnerable and soft when I'm hard as a rock. I think at that time I was starting to be very guarded with people in Kansas City, because I was feeling like I couldn't truly be myself. You know what I mean? I was having a hard time expressing. So I think that one thing that I was learning during that time is to keep a level of openness to be able to do this, and that deepened my questions as I was deepening my connectivity to myself. It all started from within, truly.
In essence, it sounds like you were reflecting the ladies and the ladies were reflecting you.
Absolutely. I think that happens every single time I do a piece. I only do pieces with people that reflect who I am at that given moment. And if I'm not my best self, I won't be able to create. God will literally sit me down, or I'll get sick, and I'll be sick for days or weeks, or even, sometimes half a month, when
I'm not well because I would try to push through it. So it also became a marker as to where I am in my phases in life. You know what I mean? If there's friction at the photo shoot, there's friction within me. If I am not calm and I feel overwhelmed and flustered, and that's reflecting in the people, like, that's me. So I started to see that everything that was happening in these spaces I was creating, my energy was literally being pushed and thrusted into it. So it's like if something was not aligned, it would not be divine and it would not shine and it would not follow through. And that's when I started to take it slowly. I was pushing out all the stories and I started to like slow down and become more intentional. So when I did the inner work, that's when the story started to become deeper and make more sense as well.
What was the most difficult shoot?
Probably the fear of being seen is something that I've always battled with, contrary to popular belief, because I'm always in the limelight, but I'm devastated of it. And I think that's something that people don't know about me because I just put myself out there in a way that people have never seen before, but it takes so much courage, so much prayer, so much time to myself to just be like, okay, you have to just do it. Because I've gotten to a point where I realize that the things that I'm doing, it's literally not about me. It's for the people. We're not living our lives for ourselves. What would be the point? We're living our lives for each other. And once I started to realize that and then take the responsibility that just keeps coming up in my dialogue, because it is a responsibility. Like when you are not harnessing and acting on your gifts, your skills, and your talents, there are people that are out there waiting for what you have. It's medicine. So I think that all of the stories definitely caused a lot of friction, but I had to get over the fear of being seen and the fear of what people will think, because I know I do things that are just outlandish to people. To me, it's normal and average, and I feel like it could be bigger. But to people, it's outlandish because no one's ever seen what I do in the way that I do it. I'm not saying it hasn't been done, but the way that I do it could only be done by the Empress. So it's just like I feel like I always have to like level up every single time I do something. And that causes me to feel insecure sometimes. So I'm really just still reaching past the fear of being seen. It's the one thing that really causes friction in anything I do, not just the creation of these stories.
Moving into Love Is Part 4, The Voices of the Divine Masculine. I know this was inspired by Gary Taylor. What was it about his transition that inspired you so much to craft a story all about him?
Give me a minute. Gary was I don't want to mess up my makeup. He was a profound person. And I think that writing a story about him was so powerful because I think I really met God through that connection, you know? And to have experienced someone so pure and so aligned with their purpose, and to just have them extracted in a way that was so brutal and due to injustice, it really does something to the spirit. And I think that what made that story so powerful is my grief. Because before he died, I don't think I ever truly experienced like true grief. And he was impactful in my life because he taught me that you have to keep going. You cannot stop. You do not have the luxury of playing small. You don't have the luxury of not being authentic and staying the course. And I felt like he just wasn't loved properly while he was alive. And I can relate to that. I can relate to being a person who navigates through life, doing all of these things, wanting to be appreciated, wanting to be recognized, and then everyone's just like stepping on you all throughout the way, and you're doing so much. He did so much, and I just watched him get trampled over constantly. And before he died, he was vocal about it. He verbalized it. He was verbalizing his pain, and I think that as a Black man, that's such a hard thing to do. And I was witnessing him doing that, and I couldn't do anything about it because it's like, this is your life path. So I was watching him suffer. And I think that what really like wounds me is that I feel like a part of my purpose in his life was to help him ascend. I'm a very pure soul. And I just remember like the first lengthy conversation we already had. It was an argument because we always argued. He was just such a aggressive force, and I feel like I'm an aggressive force. So our connection wasn't just like peaceful and rainbows, it was conflict and constant conflict. But it was teaching me how to listen to a man when he speaks. Because men are, especially Black men, specifically Black men, they're speaking constantly and they're not being heard. Their actions are showcasing what they need and what they're not getting, what they feel, and I think that they are demonized for feeling things and being able to express it. And I'm just like, I see you, like I feel you, I understand you, but because you're not getting that from the people that are around you, it's not enough. So I feel like there was a part of me that felt like I couldn't reach him in the way that I wanted. And then when I did have that closeness with him, we would just battle and argue because I'm just like, I don't understand what you're saying and you don't get what I mean. And instead of us just trying to communicate in a way that's peaceful, we were just trying to prove a point and moving in our ego. And I think that I never got a chance to like really come to a place of peace with him. Although we have like love for each other, it was still just like this aggressive back and forth banter like brothers and sisters, but really like a father and daughter energy too. You know what I mean? I viewed him like a father figure because he operated in the world in a way that a lot of men just are not operating in. He was a true divine masculine, and that's powerful. And I feel like he didn't deserve to be taken away from us with the impact he had on this world, and it made me look at legends differently. I started to think about Huey P. Newton and Malcolm X and all the people that have done something in the world but were extracted because they were standing for something. And I think that him crossing over really propelled me into a path of standing for something and moving with true purpose. And because of him, like, I can never go back to playing small or not being gentle with my own heart and not listening to the people when they have something to say, because you never know who's suffering. And you probably won't want to trade what's in your closet for theirs. So be loving to everybody and show up and listen. I think the biggest thing was to listen. And I think that deepened me into Love Is, because I'm like, yeah, I'm reading these stories from people, but am I really digesting what these people are saying and their experiences and what it means to them to share that with me? Sometimes a stranger, you know what I mean? Because sometimes I just pick random people, you know? And by him sharing such vulnerable things with me, it showcased to me that like, this is something I can continue to do moving forward with purpose. So Gary was very impactful in my path, not just for Love Is, but for my life, truly. Yes. Thank you for asking. I need a drink. Whew.
Moving into Love Is Part 6, The Vivacious Vixens. In the erotic realm, the sacred and the shadow merge. How has sensuality helped you remember parts of yourself the world made you forget?
I honestly think that I'm still navigating through that part of myself, the sensual part of myself. I think that people think that because I'm so comfortable being like nude and bare skinned and expressive, that means that I'm sexually fluid, and I don't really think that I am. I have a very difficult time with companionship and intimacy and even love in general, which is ironic because love is, right? But I think that when it comes to like the shadow emergence, I just express it through my creativity. You know what I mean? I'm not someone that likes to sleep around, and it's been very difficult for me in the relationship department, so I utilize my sensuality and my sexuality to create, and through my creations, I think that really showcases itself.
Okay, Love Is Part 10, The Foxy Novas. How have your definitions of love and truth changed throughout this process?
I think that the more that I experience different variations of love, it'll constantly change. I don't think that love is a singular thing for anyone. It changes and it evolves as you change and evolve. So I think that throughout the creation process of Love Is, I began to experience different versions of love within myself and different variations of love for other people that I was encountering throughout my experience. So I would say that it's just a multitude of surrender, empowerment, and just deep intimacy. You know what I mean? That's what it means to me now. It means a lot of different things during different phases, but that's what it means to me now.
Love Is Part 12, The Kansas City Stars. How was it having your first shoot with the all-male cast?
I felt sexy. That's all I have to say. I felt, and not sexy in the sense of like sex or even sensuality, but I felt powerful. Like these are 4 powerful men that I felt were just like regal and stoic and were doing things in their communities and just men that I respect. And it's rare that I respect men. I'm just being honest. It's very rare that men get respect from me. They have to show up a certain way to get respect. Because I've seen men and I've been around men that like deserve and are worthy of respect. So to be in that space and to just feel their energy and to pose with them and to just like cultivate this awesome shoot was amazing. And then what really inspired me was what the people had to say after it was released. First of all, everyone thought that I was sleeping with all 4 of the men. It looked like some orgy kind of thing was going on. You know, I got a bunch of messages from men, women and men, you know, asking what the dynamic was with these men. I guess they didn't realize that, like, this is a photo shoot and this is what I do. So for one, it brought people into what love is because they didn't know. A lot of people didn't even click on the blog. They just looked at the photos and like, oh, who does she think she is? And I'm just like, read the story and you will see. You will find out. People don't read. And as a writer, I'm very offended by that. But I think that the Kansas City Stars was one of the most powerful because it's the only story where I have all men. And it was a challenge to get all of those men in that space. And it was a challenge to get some of those men to speak honestly. Some of their stories I just sent back, I'm like, no, do it again. Say more, give me more. Not because I need to pull it out of you, but because I know that there's more in there and your truth might be someone else's glory. You know what I mean? Your story might be something that can help someone else release. There are not many men out here that are speaking out, let alone posing and being like, you know, sexy. Like I got them into their sexy bag and I really love that. But overall, I felt powerful and I felt like I was really doing something in the city by creating conversation about marriage, about polygamy and monogamy, about faithfulness and fidelity. Like conversations of relationships started coming up with that, and conversations of women empowerment and Black men protecting and providing for women also came in because the main picture, I'm kind of just like sitting in a chair like this and they're all around me. So it's giving out a different energy to the public. And it just brought up a lot of questions. And I'm like, ooh, I can actually create stories where people will start to like talk about it. That can be a little controversial. And I think that that really sparked something within me that was like, okay, Shay, level it up. You can level it up. You know what I mean? And so from the Kansas City Stars, I just started doing more. I became more expansive with the photo shoots and I deepened the questions. And then I became way more intentional about the people that I choose to be in the stories. So that really was a sector of life that catapulted me forward. I would say that.
Wow.
Yes.
Love is part 13, The Prestigious Philosophers. What's been your most haunting photo moment where the image said more than the words ever could?
That one. I was in a very, very dark place when I did The Prestigious Philosophers, and if it wasn't for Lacey Knight, I probably wouldn't have done it. I had her come in and orchestrate the entirety of the shoot. She played the music, she posed everyone. I didn't want to do it, but because I had already like taken time to get everyone to do it and get dressed and whatnot, I couldn't back out of it. Like, this is my story. But I was just now getting out of a breakup. I was just struggling with life. I was transitioning into moving across, you know, the country, and I just was in a very lost and dark place, and I didn't have the support that I needed. And you can really see it on my face. You can see it in my eyes, and I was so skinny. I was so frail, like I wasn't taking care of myself. So when I look back at those photos, it takes me back to a time where I could have given up, and I didn't. So although I'm not really confident in the way that I look in those pictures, or even confident in the story that I wrote, because it was coming from such a dark place, I'm just like, you were there and you conquered. So I'm happy and proud of you for documenting that. Because a lot of people wouldn't even be able to do what you did, so be proud of yourself, Shay. So I utilized that photo and that experience and that story as a whole as just a reminder and a remembrance of who I've been and who I am now, you know? But that, I would say that one, that was a hard shoot. That was a hard story for sure.
To speak even when your voice is shaking.
Yes, you still have to show up.
What's one lie about love that you used to believe but see clearly now?
That you have to stay. I don't think that you always have to stay just because there's love there. Because if there's no respect, if there's no morality, if there's no integrity, if there's no faithfulness, if there's no honesty, transparency, all of the things that matter to you, if it's lacking in a dynamic, the love doesn't mean shit. And I think that people really forget that, especially in marriages. I will tell you firsthand that I see it in marriages specifically, where it's like they'll stay because they're married, because the kids, because they have a house. I'm like, that's not a real reason to stay with someone. You know what I mean? Love isn't the solid foundation, but that's not a real reason to stay with someone. So I think that that's what I would say is that sometimes love is a crock of shit. And sometimes it can be cruel. And I think that the love that you have for yourself has to be greater for the love that you have for someone else. Because if the love that you have for yourself isn't greater than the love you have for someone else, what are you actually giving to them? You know what I mean? What are you sharing with them? You share a part of yourself with someone, and they share a part of themselves with you. You don't just give yourself to them. Make sure you know what you're coming into. You don't always have to stay. Choose you if need be.
Love is part 15. The final feast. What does it mean for you to be spiritually naked in a world obsessed with performance?
Honest. Simple as that, being honest. I think being honest is the most vulnerable thing you can do in this world because so many people are masked and trying not to live an authentic life. And I think that transparency and honesty is the key.
And have you ever felt spiritually interrupted or redirected during the creation of a story?
Yes, during the creation of that. I wasn't just creating that Love Is story, I was creating a short film. And I did not have what I needed to do that short film in the time that I was given. I had to wait months for my movie to be done. Nothing was organized. Thank God, once again, for Lacey Knight, who came in and organized some things the best that she could. But it really showed me that you need a team. That's the lesson that I was learning during Love Is Part 15, is that you need a team to get things done, because if you don't have a team, someone's gonna fall short or the outcome isn't gonna be what you want. And it was so triggering for me because I hate working with people. And I feel like I'm one of the only people that will really admit that, but I hate working with people because I'm not good at it. I'm good at being the boss. I can tell people what to do and delegate tasks, but when I have to, as Lacey would say, bend or bow, I'm not gonna do it. So it's I had to learn how to utilize the community, to realize that I'm resourced and that I have everything that I need and that people are actually here to support me and that no one's actually against me. So I had to surrender to so many different things and to compromise, and it was challenging me. It was challenging my integrity and my morality and the person that I had to become to be able to show up to do a project that large, to do a Love Is story and a music video at the same time / short film, before moving across the country, saving all my money, getting rid of my business, my car, my house, everything. That's a lot packed in one. And I felt like no one realized that I was suffering. I was drowning. And no one knew. So it didn't just teach me about community, it taught me to ask for help and to realize that people are there to help you and that you can be honest about what you're going through. So it definitely taught me a lot about both of those things, for sure.
How has the work you've done in Love Is shaped how you see yourself as a visionary, creator, and storyteller today?
I see how powerful I am and how impactful I am and how people are waiting for me to do shit. People are waiting for me to do things. It could be a random Tuesday and I'm in the bathroom brushing my teeth and then someone random messages me hey, when are you dropping another music video? Or when's the next Love Is story coming? I'm just you're waiting for that? I just do it when I feel guided to, But people are actually waiting for the things that I have to offer, and I just think that I'm out here doing things just because. So I think that seeing how impactful the work that I do, even if it's not recognized by the people that I feel should support me, there are people that support me and that support it, and I should focus more on them and giving them the medicine instead of focusing on the people that could care less about what I'm doing. It's not about them. My medicine isn't for them. I have to accept that, and it requires a different level of strength and courage and just grit also to be able to push through and not seek validation or recognition from the people that you want to support you. So I'm definitely in that season of my life for sure.
What part of your identity are you gonna have to shed to be ready to make this volume?
Maybe the part of myself that's still holding on to Kansas City. I think that my time here for these 3 months that I've been here was to learn how to really let go, and for the people here to let go of me. I think I realized that it wasn't even me holding on to the people in Kansas City, but they had a tight grip on me. And me being the Leo that I am, I feel obligated, I have to care for you, or I have to still be your friend. It's no, I've elevated, I've evolved, and there's a phase and a point where it's you can't come. You know what I mean? So I've had to journey through that, and it's been so hard to let go of, not the baggage, but the bags. You can't come, you can't come, you can't come. And if you're mad at me, that just means that you're not honoring my evolution. And I think that when you love someone, no matter what the capacity, you are dedicated to their evolution. no matter what happens. And that's really what I'm learning during this phase. Letting go of Kansas City is what's going to catapult me into the next chapter.
As you move from Kansas City to Thailand and beyond, how will cultural context affect the next sets of questions and storytelling approach?
From my experience in Thailand, from the time that I was there, I was meeting some people that are from very different lands, experiencing drastically different things that we experience here in America. For instance, a guy that I met, he lives in Israel, and there's war all the time in his country. And I'm sitting there being in awe of Thailand, like, oh, look at the stars and look at the temples. And he's just like, yeah, there's a war in my country. I'm just like, oh shit, like people are dying where you live. People are being bombed randomly where you live. And that's something I can't relate to. And it made me feel very insecure because I'm usually someone that can relate to people or empathize and comfort. But I'm like, you are dealing with something that I have no idea what that feels like to be on the receiving end of witnessing or experiencing. Right. So I think that something that I'm going to journey into is just like what's happening around the world. It's going to go from talking about like trauma and pain and heartbreak to actual things that are happening in the world of these people all around the country. Because in Thailand, it's not just Thai people. There's French people, German, Italian, Russian, Hispanic. Everyone from all walks of life are there. And I'm being gifted this beautiful melting pot of people to get stories from, but it's not going to be easy because there are hardships that I have no idea how to navigate through because I've never experienced it. So I'm prepared for the depth of these stories that come from the people that are from drastically different lands and what's going to be required for me to be able to hold that kind of space for them.
And where do you expect the biggest opportunities, friction, and challenges to exist across global identities?
Honestly, maybe a language barrier. I realized the last time that I have to learn language, and not just one language. I have to not even become masterful in all languages, but I have to be able to understand people in their language because I came across people where it's like, because of the language barrier, they would get really frustrated with talking to me and would like stop mid-conversation or would have someone to try to interpret what they were saying, where it's like, I can read what you're saying through your body language. I can feel what you're trying to say in your energy. I don't always need to be able to actually understand what you're saying. So I feel like the language barriers are going to test me, but it's also going to level me up because now I have to study language in order to be able to have conversations with these people. And I'm prepared for it. So that's just a completely different sector of love is. I might even start writing the stories in other languages to honor their culture, you know? So I might even like level it up to do photo shoots that embody their culture, like have a bunch of Thai people come dressed up in like their Thai attire, speaking their language and put that in the love is. So just leveling up by honoring where people are from and incorporating aspects of who they are.
If love is ended with one final line, what would it be?
Love is the journey within. Love is the journey within.
Yes, it is.
Indeed.
Thank you so much for your time, Ms. Calypso. It's been a
Thank you for having me.
Ladies. Since nobody has done this yet, I wanted to make a toast to the one and only Connie. We call you the Empress, and although that's just a name, it's actually a title that you've earned. You are the perfect embodiment of the divine feminine. You are soft, sweet, strong, things that not only my mother could have taught me. I know I was supposed to board that plane with you to Thailand. I know I was supposed to board that plane with you to Thailand, but it turns out only one of us are brave here, and that's you. You have taught me so much through your sacrifices, through your patience and grace with me as I've tried to learn along the way. And the biggest thing you've taught me is resilience, to keep going. You always tell me that you look at me and you think I'm strong, but I am just a mirror of you, just like you say that. So this is to you and to all the things that you're about to chase out there that you deserve. And I know that the universe is protecting you. So to Connie.
Thank you. To Connie, the one who showed us all that the only way to get through life is to be seen.
To Connie, who let my raging fury be beautiful.
To Connie, the one that taught me that softness is still some kind of storm.
To Connie, the muse behind the masterpiece, the mad woman behind the lens.
Stop. To Miss Calypso, the woman who turned love into literature.
To you all, to the ones who stayed, even when the music stopped, and danced anyway. This is to all of you. Cheers to us.
To Connie.
World that forgets women when they become too loud, too loving, and too late. She gave us more than images. She gave us proof that art could save you. And when the curtain fell, she made sure that everyone had an understanding of what love is and what love is not.
You must understand, the touch of your hand makes my pulse react. That it's only the thrill of boy meeting girl opposites attract. It's physical, only logical. You must try to ignore that it means more than that. Oh, what's love got to do with it? What's love but a second-hand emotion? What's love got to do with it? Who needs a heart when a heart can be broken? It may seem to you that I'm acting confused when you're close to me. If I tend to look dazed, I read it someplace. I've got cause to be. There's a name for it. There's a phrase that fits. But whatever the reason, you do it for me. Oh, what's love got to do with it? What's love but a second-hand emotion? What's love got to do with it? Who needs a heart when a heart can be broken? I've been taking on a new direction, but I have to say, I've been thinking about my own protection. It scares me to feel this way. Oh, what's love got to do with it? What's love but a second-hand emotion? What's love got to do with it? Who needs a heart when a heart can be broken? What's love got to do with it? What's love but a sweet old-fashioned notion? What's love got to do with it? Who needs a heart when a heart can be broken? What's love got to do with it? What's love? A second-hand emotion. What's love got to do with it? Who needs a heart when a heart can be broken? What's love?
5 years ago, I set out to capture something most people only whisper about. Not just beauty, not just pain, but the divine flicker between the two. The moments that make us both human and holy. I called it Love Is. What bloomed in Kansas City was nothing short of alchemy. You let me witness you. Unfiltered, unmasked, and unafraid. You trusted me to hold your stories, and now they live. Not just in pages or photos, but in the sacred space between memory and art. As I turn the page and fly across oceans to Thailand, I carry this love with me. The stories, the souls, the silent prayers sewn into every frame. They become seeds now, and I will plant them in foreign soil. Love Is becomes global, a soft call across borders, inviting beautiful people from every corner of the earth to come as they are, broken, brilliant, and bare. I will continue to document the rawness of existence and the radical act of simply being seen. This is to Kansas City, to every model, every muse, and every whispered yes. Thank you. You made this real. You made it love. And wherever I go from here, I go with you all inside of me. Because love is never finished.